Okay, so this is my Choose Your Own Adventure story, which we did sort of as a homework assignment. It starts out, the introduction is it started with a bloody nose. At first it was a coincidence, 2 or 3 people with bloody noses, until it happened to your best friend, who happened to be anemic. She soon coughed up blood, making you worry. The blocks for this, all I had to do was make it so that when you clicked a button, when you clicked one of the choices, it sent it to another screen. So like, if you wanted to give her a blood coagulant so that she wouldn't keep bleeding, you would press this one. But if you wanted to take her to the nurse, you would do that one. I'm going to press give her blood coagulant, and it'll change to the next screen. This was the very first one where you can die, because you die in all of the options for mine. You give your friend blood coagulant and she stops bleeding. Cleaning up her blood, you remember a unit you had a few months ago on diseases transmitted through blood. You let the thought pass. You later get hemorrhagic fever from your friend and die. But there are many other screens. So like, if I go back to option 6, it should change this back to option 6. So you can take her to the nurse, and the nurse looks into it, giving her a blood coagulant to help clot the blood. A day later, the nurse begins coughing up blood. You can either send them to quarantine or try to find help for your friend. So if you send them to quarantine, then you send your friend to quarantine and the nurse to the You send your friend and the nurse to the hospital, where they are put into quarantine. You worry, but are glad you avoided the situation. They later run tests, revealing that you too have the hemorrhagic fever. You die due to the fact that this strain has not been studied. And so it just goes on with options like this, but since this one doesn't have any buttons and there are no options left because you just died, you don't need any blocks here. So it's just a simple label, just showing text. I think my biggest challenge this week has been not comparing myself to others, because there's one girl who's really good in this class, and she was doing a bunch of things that were a lot further along than I was, and it's just a different sort of coding that I'm used to, and so I'm getting along pretty well with it. I just am not as good as her yet. And so it's just sort of making it your own process as opposed to trying to beat someone. This is going to impact my career very much because I want to work with the government in coding and things. And to do that, I'll need to know about all different types of coding, because right now I pretty much know JavaScript, HTML, and Web CSS. So this will help me broaden my horizons and hopefully get me a better opportunity at that career.